We're at day 5 and we're finally going to write an email. In fact, a couple of emails, but there is something I wanted to kind of get across first. And this is one of those theory ideas, but I think it's really important to get this down because a lot of people think subject lines are the most important part of the email, but they're really not. And if you've read the email, you'll know this already, but I really want to round this point home because there's something bigger going on, and it's an old idea. I think Gary Halbert was the one that talked about this, and I use the example of an email check in the morning when you've got 8,000 new messages. But just to make a different point, when the post lands through your letterbox, lands on your mat, you pick it up, and Gary Halbert used this idea of you'd head over to the bin, and when you're sorting through the mail at this stage, you're not really interested in what's inside it. You're just sorting it out in your head of, do I keep this or do I bin it? So there's an advert for a rest home. Oh, this guy's window cleaning. Right, bin, bin, bin. And anything that looks like it needs your attention or you don't know what it is, you move it to the back, keep it. You just work through, you don't open it there and then. You're just in kind of sorting mode or triage mode, as we say here. And it's this idea that it's not the subject line. It's the same thing with email. They're looking at the name and going, right, I can bin that, bin that, bin that. Oh, Sharon's emailed. I'm going to keep that one. And oh, this one's from Mum. I'm going to keep that one. I'll read it later. There's a process that goes on before the subject line is what I'm trying to say. So the old idea is that, as I say here, the old copywriting adage, which is really worth remembering because it speaks to like a deeper, bigger idea than just, oh, use this subject line and you'll get opens. There's something more at play here. And it's a long-term game, but it's a more valuable game to play and it's a better game to win. The from line will stop you being deleted. It'll stop your mail from being binned at the doorstep. It'll stop somebody from deleting your email. The subject line will get you opened. That's fine. So it's not a case of you can ignore the subject line. It's just a case of pay attention to the from line. Be the kind of person that when you show up in their inbox, they see your name and go, I'm keeping that. They don't even look at the subject line. But they look at your name and go, oh, Belinda's emailing. I'm keeping that. That's it. And that's a more valuable asset to have in your business because you're not depending on subject lines or this or that. You know, if you're the kind of person that depends entirely on subject lines, then one email could get really high opens, the next one not. It's like it's a tightrope you don't really want to walk because one slip and you could get in the spam or, you know, you're just not going to make sales. So here's a good example. Juicy Tushy 69, and they both email you the same thing. I want you right now. One of these is going to be responded to more than the other one. Now, so it's becoming this kind of person that when they see your name in the inbox, they want to actually hear from you. They want to read your email. And it's a longer term game, but like I said before, it's a more valuable game to win. And it's about being consistent. And it's about showing up again and again as the same kind of person. Now, most people think consistency is, oh, it's Monday, 7:03. So yeah, I'm consistent. But that's not quite what I'm shooting for here. What I want you to do is become the kind of person that's consistent in how you show up. As I say there, the quality of your emails, so that when they see your name, they know it's going to be a good email. They know it's going to be worth their time. They know that they're not going to regret clicking open on this email, time spent on it. So there's an example there. I could email on certain days, but be inconsistent with what I talked about. I don't think people would appreciate that level of consistency. And there's the example there of Cal Newport, who kind of emails sporadically, but whenever I open his link, I've never regretted it. That's the kind of person you want to be. That's the kind of person you want to be. So it's not about, just like on day 3 when I talked about, it's not about writing an email every single day, and that's not the thing to focus on. I'm also not going to give you should be emailing your list every however many schedules. I'd much rather, when we're starting off, I'd much rather you focus on being consistent when you show up. So your emails land in their inbox and it's a valuable thing to read. It's time well spent. Focus on producing quality work, quality emails, getting that process down, and your subscribers won't care whether you miss a week or whether you email on a Tuesday rather than a Thursday or anything like that. when you become the kind of person that they want to hear from, and again, we're getting back to those kind of micro commitments and repetition and all that kind of stuff that we talked about earlier on. When they get used to seeing your emails and good things happening, they won't care. They might want more. They'll put up with 5 emails a week from you at one point, and then 1 email every month another time. Now, you don't want to do that, but they'll allow for that kind of stuff because you're the kind of person in the from line that they actually want to hear from. So focus on being consistent in how you show up. And it's this idea as well. A lot of people worry about being different from everybody else. And it's not about just being different from everybody else, but it's about being distinctive. It's about, how would I say this? This is a great line I've been using for ages. It's like, how would I say this? And this is another reason why the checklist is so good, because once you get clear on the items in the checklist, it kind of frees you up to be able to look at stuff and think, well, how would I say this? You know what you're going to say, so you can go, you can fill out the checklist and say, right, this is what I want to do. I want them to click on this. This is why they should do it. This is what they're going to get out of it. This is who I'm talking to. So you get clear on all those kind of things. Then you look at each individual element and go, right, okay, how would I say this? How would I say this to people in an email? And it just gives you that creative freedom to become that person that people want to hear from. It gives you a chance to kind of zone into what your target market want to hear and be that person. And if you do that over time, you have a distinctive voice. You don't have to be wild and wacky or anything like that, but you just have to be distinctive. You have to be you. You have to be different enough so that when they see your name, they know what to expect. This is going to be a little bit different. Not different as in crazy, but just you. They've got a reason to choose you over everybody else. They like you because this. And it's these kind of differences that are found in this, how would I say this? Too many people are focusing on, I want to sound like everybody else, or this is the way it's meant to be done. But the trouble is, when you do any kind of marketing, especially email, and it sounds like everybody else, then you're not giving people a reason to choose you. So when you ask yourself, how would I say this? How would I say my course is 50% off? How would I say that to somebody? Or how would I say, click the link to my blog? How would I do that? When you answer that question, you give people a moment, a special kind of glimpse into what's really going on with you and what it's like to be with you. And it's only a small thing, but it's enough for them to go, you know what, I like you more than the other guy. So get used to asking yourself, how would I say this? And the great thing is, once you've done the checklist, that's what gives you the freedom to do it. So here's a good example of this. You can have a read of that. And as you can see here, you can copy, when you get clear on the ideas in the checklist, you can almost copy and paste them into an email, which is the example I use here. And it just becomes a bare bones email. And then you can write the bare bones email and then flesh it out into something a bit funnier, or, whatever kind of angle, how would I say this? How would I say, if you're fed up of feeling fat, what kind of example would I use for that? And, you can see it, I've done it in here. But it's the checklist that gives you the freedom to be able to do this. How would I say this? And it's the how would I say this that makes people fall in love with you. So when they see your name in their inbox under the from line, they go, I'm going to save that. Next time I have a dump, I'm going to read that one on the loop. So that's a good example for this. And it's another good reason why you should really fill out the checklist as much as you can, because it just gives you the freedom to apply your own character and personality to it. So this is another example as well. You don't always want to lead with need. It's not a hard and fast rule. Remember, we're not going for hard and fast rules here. But the why they should care about this is a really compelling point to people. As I said in the earlier video, it takes it away from you. This is, buy my Hungarian course was the example I used. And takes it to them. Buy my Hungarian course now because the price will double at midnight and it'll cost you more. Lead with need. It's not a hard and fast rule, but if you can focus on the why should I care about this and keep it top of mind, your emails will be a lot more compelling and a lot more clearer. Because remember, people won't make the leap. You might tell people that, your course offering a laptop lifestyle is available until this date. But you might need to spell out why they should care about this. You might need to spell out why they should act now. The sooner they get started, the sooner they'll be there. That kind of thing. So it's always a good idea to focus on the why should I care about this, because people are selfish idiots. But yeah, that's really the lesson for today, is focusing on becoming the person that when you show up in their inbox, they go, oh, I'm going to read that. Just so almost like the subject line doesn't really matter. Just focus on not getting binned and deleted straight away. So there's not a lot to do today. So just have a go at doing a checklist for your business, because we've done just essentially what I've done there is like create a checklist, fill it out and be nice and clear about it. As you can see, I've got into a bit of specific detail there. And as you can see, that's what allows me to kind of copy and paste it into a bare bones email there. So that's what I want you to do. Complete a checklist, go full out and be as specific as you can. Copy and paste it into a bare bones email. The goal isn't to kind of be able to do this perfectly. So you can tweakery, as I say there, engage in some tweakery if you like, just to make it a bare bones email. And then once you're happy with the basic email, just read through it and, see how you would tweak this to make it you. How would I say this? What would you do? And what angle would you put on it? And just add your own personality to it. The goal isn't to make it completely different. It's just about it's just another one of those habits, like sitting down and writing for 15 minutes a day. Just get into the habit of looking at stuff and thinking, how would I say this? The checklist gives you the information you need to get across if if you're doing like a cart close, 15 minutes left kind of thing. But the how would I say this is what's going to turn your emails into stuff that people look forward to reading. So have a go at that. You'll end up with two versions of the same email, a very basic bare bones version and a how would I say this kind of version. And like I say there, just give both a quick read through and think about how your audience would react to each and when one might be useful rather than the other one. And maybe with which audience would appreciate one rather than the other. Is one a bit more cuddly and friendly? Is the other one a bit more straight to the point and suitable for the people who are experts and already know this kind of shizzle? They're almost one step behind you, so they don't need a lot of detail in the email. They just need the bare bones. You can shoot that to them and they get the value from the email. Whereas the beginners might need the warmth and personality of your how would I say this version so that they can get the most out of it. So yeah, jiggle stuff around, have a play. Remember, this is not a hard and fast thing, but just come up with a basic bare bones version from the checklist and then get into the habit of tweaking it. How would I say this? And I'll see you tomorrow.